Okay, you were saying about money and that donations cannot be stopped in a democratic system. And I think you were hinting at the point that California wants to act independent, that's fine. But who's stopping all their money being sucked out to politicians in America to do things we don't like? Roughly what you're getting at?
Yeah, pretty much. It's everybody's beholden by donations. Everybody in the system, everybody in Sacramento, everybody in Washington, wherever you have a capital, wherever there's politics, over 9 times out of 10, there's somebody has to go out and ask for money. And there's a certain etiquette to it. I don't know, there's a dance to it. I'd have to go to the zoo and find out what the dance is, when you take the check and actually you do the reciprocity for the check or something like that. But there's always going to be something like that.
Okay.
See, in California, is totally ingrained in that. You look it up. California is the ATM of the U.S. political system.
Real quick, I just want to put this out. It's not just Republicans, and I think you know this. I remember when Hillary Clinton was running in 2016, she couldn't campaign here at all. She campaigned here one time, and the news complained about how she had to distract from her important campaign in 2016 to spend time talking to California. And then, because she was like, hey, I just need you guys to vote for me. And then she took the majority, 40% of her funding from here, but she couldn't get one meeting. And then I remember Barack Obama did the same thing. He came here, he'd take all this money. We had a drought in 2015. He couldn't do nothing for us. And I remember Clinton and Obama never said anything about, hey, California, you should stop paying more into the system than you get. So, yeah, the Republicans do it and the Democrats do it. And we don't seem to get a whole lot for it, do we, Ken?
I don't think so. No. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's true that it happens. I mean, right up the freeway in Rancho Santa Fe. If you look up donations from 92067. That's my dog saying. Yeah, I live on a busy street. People are walking by, and those are my dogs. But if you look at I think the zip code's 92067. I think that's it. That might be Santee, that might be Rancho Santa Fe. But if you look that up, and if it is Rancho Santa Fe, you're gonna find out one of the biggest donations for years and years and years. Most of the money that went into federal donations came out of Rancho Santa Fe. I think that's changed, and I think that's changed to a Northern Virginia suburb. Where it's kind of keeps the money kind of really tightly and a lot more tightly in the circle. But there was that. When we were talking, where did Barack Obama make that comment about people being in love with their guns and all that? Where a recording slipped out. That happened at a donation stop. That happened at a fundraising stop in San Francisco. What happened? Where did Pete Buttigieg? Wine and dine donors to his campaign in a wine cave, Napa County. So that there's all that. So there's all that. Our neighbors keep us tied into that system, and I object to it. I object to the way that they donate to a system that terrorizes our neighbors. That terrorizes we got kids, we got citizens, we got kids who would be in school, but they're not in school, and they don't have the money to get the internet access. So they can't barely study now. But even in the best times, when there's not a pandemic going around, they still have to worry about mom and dad getting deported. And now mom and dad are sitting in camps like any other jail. All jails in the United States are in active violation of the 8th Amendment because of the United States hypocrisy about human and civil rights. It's also an active violation of the 6th Amendment, that people are locked up in jail and they're being subjected to COVID, other disease vectors tied in next to them, and they don't even get masks or gloves or hand sanitizer. So, there was a report coming out of a detention center run by Core Civic, a Nashville based company that is a private company that runs detention for ICE. It's down in Otay Mesa, and what people are trying to do is make their own mask. And what did they do when detainees tried to make their own masks, they sprayed them with pepper spray. So, you know, we fund this to do this to our own kids, because things we don't just take away mom and dad. We terrorize the mom. We terrorize the kid. The kid is traumatized by everything going on. The kid is hungry. The kid doesn't have a house. The kid can't concentrate at school and try and pull them up by their bootstraps, just like the old Reagan worshippers would have them do. So nation state, you can work inside it. You know that Newsom is working inside of what he's got. For me to, in his first, and rightfully, his first concern would not be what goes on inside of the hand, about how money funds politics. He needs PPE. He needs to get testing going on. We don't have a testing regime at this moment in California. That's a problem. We don't have a lot of that. And you don't hear the media of the press talking a lot about that. For weeks, California's been needing to do more testing for COVID-19 in the presence of coronavirus and people who have antibodies to it. That's what he should be paying attention to. I support that. But when all this mess is over and we can be healthy, we can go walk out and we can go walk down the bar and smoke cigarettes and have, all that, or go out to the park and run around and go sit in concerts and see the Padres maybe win. We can start talking about the money. We can start talking about how Californians sabotage and brutalize each other by participating in the campaign donations.
Yeah, it just blew me away that Obama did not talk about how we lose money. Clinton did not talk about how we lose money. They took a ton of money here. The Republicans hate us, which is even worse, and they take money too. So we get nothing for this. And I hear Californians going, yeah, but you get influence. And I go, based on what? California hasn't influenced the presidential election since 1879. So, and if they couldn't influence them to get us more money than we put into the federal system, then what good is your influence? You can't obviously influence the biggest issue there. So, where are you? What exactly are you getting for this? Because
I have to differ. The thing is just that the people who are getting something out of what the system is doing and what they're getting are the people who pay into the system. And you can find out who they are by looking them all up at donations at the Donations Data Bank at fec.gov. Those are the Californians who are getting something out of it.
Yeah, they are. I'm just saying, when I talk to Californians and they say, yeah, they come here for donations, but we get influence, I'm like, no, we don't. You're right. Some rich people are getting whatever they want, but whatever they're asking for is not allowing California to get more federal money. It is not talking about how we lose federal money. It is not talking about fixing our roads. And it is certainly not talking about the federal government getting out of our way for international trade. So whoever those Californians are and whatever they're asking for is not to the benefit of all California. So we don't get it.
They make really good targets for in the future to have little discussions. Ask him about it. Yeah. We should ask him about that. What are you getting out of this?
Yeah. And it just goes on, and it never stops, and we're just have money siphoned out, and for what? I think that's a good point. Ken, let me ask you. Actually, let me stop right there, and I'm going to ask you another question. Let me stop right there.